friends, I'm glad you're with me today. This video I think is going to be super fun. It's makeup that makes you feel nostalgic. I asked on Instagram what products give you this feeling. I got some great responses. I've put together a little makeup bag's worth of things that were brought up in the responses, and then as I go in certain categories there was just a lot of feedback, and I'll mention some of the other things that came up too. But it's just fun to think back on the makeup that maybe reminds us of our earlier makeup using days, the early YouTube days. But the way I asked the question, it was name a makeup product you use that makes you feel nostalgic. So current things that just take you back, you know? First thing, we're actually going to start with concealer. You'll see why, because there's a certain foundation being used and it just has to be concealer first today. The concealer I saw mentioned more than a few times was the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I've got it here in that pinky tone brightener shade. Excuse me? Who just peeked in? Biscuits is in here playing with a twist tie and Rosie just like peeked her head in and then peeked it right back out. Anyways, I've got my skincare on. I'm all moisturized and I'm going to take my little puffy tip Age Rewind brightener and dab it around my areas where I want a little concealer today, okay? So that's going to be under eye, around the nose, and kind of like almost highlighting when I put it on the chin. I'm going to blend that in with my e.l.f. Tap and Blend concealer brush, and anytime I use this, I'm always kind of like, yeah, the coverage is really, really good here. And the effectiveness of brightening is legit. So I'm just taking my little brush and blending her on in. And then yes, the foundation we're using is a powder format. Can you guess what it is? Lots of mentions in the feedback, so I had to pull this one out. But the most feedback I got was definitely in the categories of eyeshadows, mascaras, and lip products. So I'll explain more when we get there. I got a little sun yesterday. It was one of those odd days where like the kids were super antsy to get in the pool. It had rained really hard in the morning, and then it looked like it was going to be fairly cloudy for a while, and I didn't diligently sunscreen any of us. They wanted to stay out there longer than I had expected, and it did get sunnier. But anywho, here's my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, pretty much all blended in with just my e.l.f. Tap and Blend concealer brush. Usually I bring in a larger brush to finish the job, but I kind of just went for it there. We can do this though. Sometimes it makes it feel a little worked in or just spread out. Okie dokie, there we go. So the foundation that was mentioned quite a bit was the bareMinerals Original, the loose foundation. I have mine here in medium beige. This is a product, gosh, I've had it on hand. I've repurchased it. I've been wanting to rediscover it, really. I'd seen some bareMinerals talked about on QVC recently, and I was like, oh yeah, my bareMinerals. They were actually selling what looked like an updated version of their pressed mineral foundation like a couple weeks ago. But I got out both my foundation and also my bisque concealer, and I thought I might gently set what's going on here with my bisque. One of a kind loose powder concealer. Okay, so they have the best locking mechanism in the game, by the way. The holes are locked, you twist it open, it's perfect. Tap out a little bit. This is not like mega loose setting powder. This is potent powder with a coverage all its own. So I'm not getting too much, but I'm getting some there on my little triangle brush, which I think you can still get this little shaped brush. And I'm just gonna tap over my under eye area, and it's gonna look so perfect and evenly covered. But you don't have to have any like creamy concealer under this. This can be the one and done concealer step if you're in a bareMinerals mode, you know what I mean? I'm getting around the nose. Look at that. Like, it just makes you so even. And then I can just buff over with my bareMinerals foundation and I'll be all good. See, it does not take a lot. I did not tap much into my lid, and I'm not going to do any more than that. And I don't feel tacky at all. I really don't feel the way I would if I put a bunch of under eye setting powder on, because the amount was minimal, but it was potent for what it does coverage wise, so I don't want to go too far. bareMinerals Bisque, really great product. They also have the Well Rested, which is a little more like yellowy tone, but still brightening for the under eye area. Now we're going to do the original bareMinerals foundation. Remember swirl, tap, and buff? Okay, again with the locking thing, which I love. Tapping out some. I've got a bareMinerals retractable brush here. Looks like this. And I'm getting the product all in there. Swirl, tap. I would love to hear in the comments section who's using this stuff every day. You know, who has never let go of this. This brush feels just a little like small to me for what I'm doing. I feel like I want to be using something bigger. This was what I was thinking. My bareMinerals Full Flawless Face Brush. Do they still sell this one? Yes. Buff it in. I've done some videos where I've really achieved like a full coverage look out of bareMinerals. Kind of want to go back and watch those and refresh myself on my tips. But for today, we're just throwing it on a little more. Love that. Remember Everyday Minerals? Like a great little mineral makeup brand. I remember using that a lot in the apartment days. I saved a few little things and they had some great brushes too. Found those in my makeup room closet not too long ago. But here we go. I feel like I've achieved kind of a medium coverage all over. The way bareMinerals is, like, you're not gonna look thick and powdery after an application. I still feel like my skin is kind of glowing, which is cool. Next up, we have our Rimmel Natural Bronzer. This was brought up by several of you. Some were even talking about NYC makeup. Now, I don't think you're currently using NYC makeup, but there's no doubt some people currently using this because this product is out there and being sold. I pulled out my Sun Bronze shade. I've been using Sun Dance a lot lately. It's got some shimmer, but we're going back to good old Sun Bronze with the angled brush. Rimmel. Man, I think Rimmel is a fantastic brand, but I wish my nearest Walmart wouldn't have let it go. That rubs me the wrong way big time. But a lot of the newest things I wasn't even finding there anyway necessarily, so Amazon is where I look for new Rimmel. Doing a little contour with this. It can do it all. It's a soft bronzer, but it truly is a do-it-all bronzer for me, my skin tone. Raise your hand if you've ever cracked one of the lift-off caps. They really are not the most durable things, but we appreciate that they're like $3 and change, so we're like, okay, Rimmel, it's fine. Good product, good price, we'll let it go. I'm just gently blending it in, and then I feel like I'm taking it kind of more where the sun would hit for just a light dusting, you know what I mean? So kind of like contour and bronze, just depending on the way you get it on your skin. Quite possibly the most mentioned blush in the whole conversation was Milani Luminoso. There's one that I think a lot of YouTube viewers associate with this whole community. Not just my channel, but it probably takes you back to the thought of many different YouTubers. But it's something that's still available today. It's actually been repackaged. This would be the older packaging of it. Within the last year when Milani redid their baked products, I got a new one that was in the new look, but comparing the two, I was like, it's no different from the old, really. And since I still have plenty in this compact, I'm not gonna let it go. So we're gonna use this. This was not my personal favorite of the Milani baked blushes, I will say. Like, I can build it up to a place where I'm like, okay, I feel blushy enough. It's peachy, it's softly glowy. You know, I don't mind the fact that it's giving me kind of a highlighter optional skin, but compared to like Catrice's soft blushes, those soft glam baked blushes, I feel like those give me a little bit more pigment wise. But I'm going to build and I'm going to be happy with this. I don't hate Luminoso, but it's just not my most favorite. The thing you've just got to keep in mind when building it up is you're going to keep getting more glow as well as more color. So you may not want to be as glowy as you end up being in your attempt to get more color on your cheeks, but most people would be fine with this. There we go. We're stopping there because look how much glow I'm already getting on my cheeks. There were some different highlighter mentions. I saw Champagne Pop coming up, but I thought that with the use of Luminoso today, we might not even need a separate highlighter. But also saw MAC Fix Plus coming into the conversation, so we're gonna use that today. I love the smell of this stuff. Every time I use it, it's just like one of those scents you're not gonna find anywhere else. I don't know how to explain it. MAC Fix just has this freshness, this unique scent all its own. Sorry, Bisky, I hope I didn't spray you. And look how my skin just looks a little more dewy after having that on. How did they put it in the comment? Taylor said, the best makeup melter before a long-lasting setting spray, can't go without. So that's a good idea. If you wanted to lock in your staying power even more, you could maybe mist on some L'Oreal 3 Second or something like that. But look what that does just for the look of everything. And the smell and the nostalgia. I mean, I remember a time when it was like only only MAC Fix Plus. MAC Fix Plus and maybe Mario Badescu. Urban Decay All Nighter starting to get into the mix as well, but there wasn't always near the selection that there is now. On the topic of brows, hardly anything was brought up actually, but I did eventually see somebody talk about those little short red Maybelline pencils that come in the 2-pack. I know my friend David will work those in sometimes. I don't currently have any here in my stash, which David, by the way, has had his final day after 20 years at Bergdorf Goodman in New York. He's had his last day. They're not going to have an Estee Lauder counter there at Bergdorf's anymore. So I don't know if he's publicly announced where he's going next, but there will be another way that you can be in touch with David and actually purchase products through David. So I will let you know when that's all out there. But back to the brow conversation, I thought I would just pick something that made me feel nostalgic, and that's going to be ABH Dip Brow. Thinking back to different people I'd watched and the way this product seemed to be such a fixture, I've got it in medium brown. I'm going to use this little e.l.f. like angled brush and spoolie, and I know I have to be careful with this because it's very colorful, and even though I've had mine for a while, it's still very creamy. But I recall waiting a long time before ever buying this. I witnessed a lot of dip brow before I took the plunge myself. But yeah, it's one of those products where you could really create that like carved out, super neat looking brow, you know? That's not always what everybody's about these days. But I feel like I have a lot of natural thickness in my brows. So did you notice how I first went to the middle of the brow where my brow is naturally more dense, so I don't inadvertently lay down too much right in here where I think it needs to be just a little softer. But yeah, it's still plenty creamy. There's still tons of product in here. Probably use that for the rest of my life and not need more. You know what never fails in our pool? I got a new pool raft, like little floaty thing. A couple kids can fit on it. Actually, all 3 of mine can. And what never fails is the British accents start coming out and they start behaving like it's a Titanic lifeboat. That's something that's definitely going to happen in our pool. Yeah, Biddy's zest for the Titanic hasn't totally died. Okay, left brow always just is a little trickier for me, and I'm trying my best here. I'm trying to get it filled without getting it too filled, if you know what I mean. And then the subtle needs of the inner part of the brow. It's like, let's use old school makeup, but let's try to keep kind of a modern twist on it. I don't know. There we go. I think I should quit while I'm ahead because that brow looks decent. And then I am going to set it with a little, oh come on Em, we can go older than that. Not ColourPop Brow Boss today. It needs to be something more like Wet n Wild Mega Clear. There we go. And I think there's a little hold in the dip brow too, but not to the level that I think we expect today out of brow products. Everything's so like laminating and setting and all day hold and that type of deal. This isn't really that way either, but it brings us a step closer, I think. For eyeshadows, a lot of different things mentioned here. CoverGirl trios and quads came up. Shimmering Sands specifically came up. I was wearing Country Woods just last week, so that was a whole thing mentioned. MAC singles. Yes, that takes me back to some of my earliest YouTube watching days for sure. The Naked palette, the Urban Decay Naked palette, the OG original one. Yep, that's an icon. Also, the chocolate bar palette from Too Faced, another iconic thing. And then just in general, I found people mentioning single eyeshadows, just the thought of a single, you know, instead of using a palette, having those certain singles. So I pulled out a couple singles, just kind of random for this look. I pulled out Cool Cocoa from Maybelline, and I pulled out one of my bareMinerals singles. Remember these? I actually saw them selling like a trio of these on QVC recently. This one is called Nude Beach. I remember that one being really popular. So we're gonna do some eye primer. I'm gonna go to my little Urban Decay primer potion since that definitely takes me back. The inspiration for so many eyeshadow primers that came after. Don't need a lot, but just smooth it on. There we go. And then I'm taking this Cool Cocoa shade, which does have a little satin finish. I had recently done a whole like one shadow look just with this and it looked really good. But today I'm going to utilize it as a crease color. Look at this nice easy crease we're getting. It's like the color of my headband, you know? Maybe a little softer. I also think of those Maybelline like expert wear quads. Remember like the whole smoky line they put out at one point in time? There was natural smokes, emerald smokes, amethyst smokes, was it? The purpley one? Those were fun. And then you could get a little compact of like 8 different shades this big from Maybelline. I still have one of those in my archive. And if you like stuff like this, remembering old makeup, check out my TikTok because I've done a handful of videos going through my like makeup room closet and finding old stuff. That's been fun. I'm gonna place a little bit of this shade on my outer lid. I just think that looks so perfect as a crease color. Again, it's Cool Cocoa from Maybelline. You can buy this currently in Walmart. Like I bought mine not that long ago. I'm just putting it on the outer part of my eyelid. Looky there, right here. And then I did kind of flip my brush just to give a little extra build and lift to the outside. Okay, yay. Blendy blend just a little bit. And then we're going to take that single from bareMinerals, Nude Beach. Oh my gosh, a lot is shaken out. I don't know if they've developed any kind of like sifter locking mechanism these days, but none of my singles that I still have, which I've kept quite a few, none of them lock it in. I need a different little flat brush. This is just a random little older brush from Morphe. I'm picking some up. Some is clinging to my lid here. This is so pretty. Look at that glow. Nude Beach. She's old, but I'm not really scared. Soft shimmer. That was such a quality in these, wasn't it? Like, you would have shimmer, but it wouldn't overwhelm your eyes or look wildly metallic, but they really mastered the soft shimmer. Look at that pretty glow. We can pop right in here with it too, I think. Because honestly, a loose pigment type of thing is capable of so much color payoff wise. So the restraint that these have with just giving us a pretty soft, not over the top shimmer is nice. Has a very everyday quality to it, you know what I'm saying? Thank you, bareMinerals. Mascara wise, I identified 3 that were just getting repeatedly mentioned. CoverGirl Lash Blast in the orange tube. Also some nostalgia for Lash Blast Clump Crusher. L'Oreal Voluminous. I kind of want to get back to that, although I know it does not hold my curl. And Maybelline Great Lash. Ugh. I've never been able to get on board with that one, but yes, just the thought of it takes me back to finding it in my mom's makeup stash, that pink and green tube. So I'm thinking, I don't currently have any of those in my collection, but another one that I saw mentioned was also L'Oreal Telescopic. And I do remember that one a lot, currently sold, by the way, and so many spin-offs. And what I currently have is one of the most recent spin-offs, the Telescopic Lift. So that's what I'm gonna use for my mascara today. I'm not using liner. I didn't see a lot of mentions of different eyeliners, so we're just gonna do a mascara day and focus on the Telescopic Lift. And the end result here is gonna be just a light, easy, summery look, you know? Remember the Telescopic Explosion? And they were kind of duping Givenchy with their little like ball. It was strictly just a ball with spikies all over it. And I came to really like that because I felt like I could reach all my lashes actually pretty easily. But let's see here. This one has a whole flat side of the brush just devoted to holding product, and then short bristles pretty much all the way around that. And this is a repurchased tube of this actually. I had one, I did come to enjoy it, and I purchased another tube and it was waiting in my little drawers over here. And today's the day she gets to come out again. Wow. It really does build a big lash. What I'm doing is kind of letting that side covered with product just slip past the lashes and then twist it to the comby side to pull it on through. Which that really scratches my itch for getting product on the lashes because so many brushes come off just so cleaned off. You can't really get anything going. Here I can. What was the alert on my phone that just came in? Oh, weather update. I think today's going to be a pretty calm day. Okay, again with the product side, get some on there right away, and then comby side to sweep it on through. I do feel like I have a lot of control with this brush as well. All right, guys, I finished with like another couple of coats, but that's a pretty good lash for me, okay? That length is really nice. I don't have anything on my lower lashes, but just this for the upper lashes, like, I think looks so good. And then for lips, guys, we gotta pull up the lip conversation here. Clinique Black Honey. I love the comment that said it came in every gift with purchase back in the early 90s. And I actually have like a little small size of it. I think I most recently got this in a duo with Pink Honey, but Black Honey came up quite a few times to where I was like, okay, it needs to be in this video. But other things mentioned were Revlon Super Lustrous lipsticks. A few people had certain shades that they brought up there, but just that range in general came up a lot. L'Oreal lipsticks, just the classic L'Oreal lipsticks, probably the scent of L'Oreal lipsticks too comes to mind. And then also lip smackers or any flavored lip product, specifically the Dr. Pepper lip smacker came up a lot. But we're gonna use some Black Honey today. I feel like this is a product that in the tinted lip balm craze, it's been duped. You know, e.l.f. did their sheer slick black cherry shade that's a lot like this one. There are dupes out there, but here's the original Black Honey going on, which it feels really nice, really balmy, but does give a good amount of color to the lips. I would love it if the world walked around with this much color on their lips all the time. Like, I'm into it. It's such a classic, like what felt like not enough blush at first now somehow feels right and balanced with this lip on. The eye feels balanced suddenly. There's a reason why it's so loved. So yeah, that's my look today, friends. Made up of all of your nostalgic makeup faves. Not really everything that was mentioned, but a chunk of what was mentioned. I could maybe do this a couple more times, but I really enjoyed busting out my bareMinerals again. I like doing an eye look with just a couple of singles, like back in the old days. And telescopic lift, man, like that really went there for me today, and I'm happy about it. So thank you so much for contributing your responses to this video, and I will see you all again very soon. I love you. Bye.